Good morning, children. Welcome to today's class. Today we are going to discuss formal letter writing. We have studied last year that there are two different kinds of letters. One is a formal letter, other is informal letter. Informal letters we have studied in details in class 5th. Informal letters are those that you write to your family members or your friends. Informal letters are more personal in nature. But when you write a letter to the principal of your school or to the editor of a newspaper, anybody who holds an important office, an important designation, those letters are known as formal letters. These letters are official in nature. Formal letters are usually very short and to the point. Here we are going to discuss how to write formal letters. This is the layout of formal letter, the format that we will follow. This is a picture I've taken from your learner's commate. It starts with the sender's address. Sender's address means your own address. You will first write your address. Then comes the date. After one line, you will write the address of the addressee. That is the receiver's address. To whoever you are writing the letter, that person's address you will write next. After that, you will leave another line and you will write the subject. Subject is the heading. It has to contain the gist of the letter. Then comes the salutation. Salutation means over here, like we have dear sir or sirs. So you have to write a salutation to whoever you are writing the letter to. Then comes the body of the letter, which is the main part. It should be written in 2 to 3 short paragraphs. Thanking you, and then subscript, which is yours faithfully. You can also write yours sincerely. Then your name. I have explained the same layout as it is written over here in a better way in the next slide. Here we see in stages how to write the letter. First, I told you, is the sender's address. Now whenever you write the sender's address, make sure that you write a very small sender's address. So in the first line, you can write the locality where you live, like I've taken for example Lanka over here, and then the city. So I've written Varanasi. If you live in Bhagwanpur, you can write in the first line Bhagwanpur, and in the second line you can write Varanasi. Alright, if you live in Sigra, you can write Sigra and then Varanasi, like that. I don't want you all to write very long addresses over here because that just makes it very complicated. Sometimes you lose out on marks on the way you write the address. If you write a very long address, you might not know the correct format and you will get it wrong. That is why stick to the shorter method of writing your address. Just write the name of your locality and the name of your city. In this way, you will be sure that you will not lose any marks. After you have written the sender's address, you will leave one line and then you will write the date. Now, how will we write the date? There is a proper format for that as well. Let's see how we'll write the date. So we'll write May 8, 2020. First we write the name of the month, then the date, we put a comma, then we write the year. Alright, please make sure whenever you write this, don't write short form of the month. Write the full form. It is always a good habit to write the full name of the month. Instead of writing Feb, you will write February, like that. Understood? Don't stick to short forms, write full forms. This is the format for writing the date. You should follow no other format for date writing. It should be in this particular format. After date is done, again we will leave one line and we will write the receiver's address. Receiver is the person you are sending the letter to. Say for example, I am writing a letter to the headmistress of the school. What will I write? Here I have written principal. Okay. You can also write headmistress if your letter tells you to address it to the headmistress. So I have written the principal, Sunbeam School, Varanasi. So the receiver's address, always try to wrap it up in 3 lines, not more than 3 lines. Okay. First we write the designation of the person. Designation means what is the role, what is the job designation of the person. So for that is I've written the principal over here. Then which company or which institute that person works for. So the principal works for Sunbeam School. So that is why second line has Sunbeam School. Now which city is the company or the institution situated in Varanasi. So third line I have written Varanasi. Understood? So you will first write the designation of the person, then the company or the institution where the person works, and then the city where the company stands. I've taken one more example for receiver's address. Say you're writing it to the editor of a newspaper. I've taken the newspaper over here as the Hindustan Times. So I write the editor because the role of the person I'm sending this letter to is the editor. He is the editor of the Hindustan Times. So that is why my first line will have his job role, which is the editor. In the second line, I have to write the name of the company he is associated with. So company's name is the Hindustan Times because he is the editor of the newspaper, and city because we are writing it to the editor who's in Varanasi, the Varanasi office of this particular newspaper. So I write Varanasi. If suppose you had to write for Delhi, you could have written Delhi in the last line. Similarly, if I say write to the editor of Times of India, you will write the editor, the Times of India, like that. See, every time try to wrap up the receiver's address in 3 lines. After we are done with the receiver's address, we write the subject. Now subject is a new feature that we don't write in informal letters. Subject is like a short heading for the letter. Whatever you intend to write in the main body of the letter, whatever you're going to talk about in the letter should be written in your subject in a very short form. You should not write a subject which is of 2-3 lines. Subjects are very small. Just try to wrap up your subject in maximum 4 to 5 words, not more than that. Only 4 to 5 words. Okay. Over here I've written poor electricity in the locality. I've just taken an example. There is no letter over here for poor electricity. I've just written this for giving an idea to all of you. So suppose you're writing a letter to the editor of the Hindustan Times on the poor electricity conditions in your locality. So I can write poor electricity in the locality or in my locality. Anything is fine. Just an example, okay? After subject is done, again leave one line and write salutation. I've written respected sir or ma'am over here. You can also write dear sir or ma'am. That is also correct. Suppose for example you are writing to the headmistress of your school. Now for headmistress you already know that headmistress is a female. So in that case don't write respected sir or ma'am. Just write respected ma'am. Okay. If in case you don't know whether the person is a male or a female, then you write respected sir or ma'am. So generally you would not know whether the editor is a female or a male. So in that condition you write sir or ma'am. Okay. After you are done writing the salutation, we will write the body of the letter. Body of the letter should be written in 2 to 3 paragraphs. I generally prefer 3 paragraphs. These paragraphs are very small. In the first paragraph, you just write an introduction line, only one line. So first paragraph has only one line. Okay. In the second paragraph, make it of say 3 to 4 lines wherein you write about the problem. So over here, if I'm taking the example of poor electricity, you can write whatever problems you are facing because of poor electricity. Second paragraph, you can try to wrap up in 3 to 4 lines. And the last paragraph should be your ending paragraph. That is again maximum 1 to 2 lines, not more than that. You can just, in the last paragraph, you can make a request to the person that you're writing the letter to help you with the problem. That is how you frame your 3 paragraphs. Okay. After that, you write thanking you. Thanking you is a must. Whenever you're writing a formal letter, you have to write thanking you. Yours faithfully and then your full name. I've written my full name because I am the person writing the letter over here. When you write your full name. This is your entire format of writing a letter. I hope the format is clear. Be very careful, children. Letter writing is a very scoring part in your exam. If you know the format correctly, you get a lot of marks for the format. So don't mess up with the format. Understand the format very, very clearly. This is a very scoring question in your paper. This is about the layout. Okay. Now we'll move on to the question that you have in your syllabus. We have 2 topics that we have to do. There are 2 topics. First topic you will do in your learner's format. You can write it in the learner's format itself. Second one is for your English 1 notebook. Let's read the first topic. Write a letter to the editor of the Times of India expressing your views on the neglect of priceless historical monuments in and around your city. We are going to discuss this in detail in the next slide. This you will do in the COMATE. There's one more topic. Write a letter to the municipal commissioner complaining about the sanitary conditions of your locality. This is to be done in the English 1 notebook. We will discuss about each of the topics in details in our later slides. Because you all are doing this one for the first time, I have given you the first letter. That is the letter to be done in the COMATE. I have given the letter to you. This you will write it exactly like this. You can just copy it into your learner's COMATE. This is the one I have given you to understand how to write the letter. See how I have framed it. I have written again Lanka Varanasi because I want to write a very small, a very short sender's address. Then the date. See the format of the date. Month, date, and then year. Then this letter has to be written to the editor of the Times of India. So I write the editor, the Times of India, Varanasi. Subject. Now see, the subject I told you has to be very small. You will not write a huge subject. So you will write neglect of priceless historical monuments. That is it. Then comes the salutation. Now whenever you write a letter to the editor of a particular newspaper, this is how you will start the letter. Be very sure this is exactly the way you will start the letter. Through the columns of your highly esteemed daily newspaper. This part you will mug up, and this you will write all the time whenever you have to write to the editor. So through the columns of your highly esteemed daily newspaper, I would like to draw your attention towards the historical monuments in and around Varanasi which are being neglected. See, this is my first paragraph. Here my first paragraph ends. So what did I do in my first paragraph? I just gave a brief introduction into the main content of the letter. In the second paragraph, I'm going to write more about the problem. So let's read what I've written over here. Varanasi is one of the oldest cities in the world and is also known as the religious capital of India. Our city is famous for places of historical value like the Ramnagar Fort, the Kashi Vishwanath Temple, the Chinar Fort, and many more. These sites attract tourist attention all round the year, but people are spoiling our historical monuments by spitting here and there, scribbling on the walls, throwing garbage carelessly, etc. We need to check such activities and punish those who are harming our historical heritage. This completes the second paragraph. See, now in the second paragraph, in very short sentences, short 3 to 4 sentences, I have written the problem that is happening with the historical monuments and what we need to do about it. Now let's see what I have written in the last paragraph. In the last paragraph I have written, it is my humble request. Now you are writing to the editor. The editor is somebody who holds a very high office, a very high position. So you have to show your humility to that person and you have to make a request. You cannot order that person, you have to make a request to that person. So you will write, it is my humble request to you to take the necessary action in this regard and protect the pride of our city, Varanasi. See, in one line I've made the request and wrapped it up. Then you leave one line. After you're done with the main part of the letter, you will leave one line and you will write, thanking you, yours faithfully. You can also write yours sincerely and then your full name. Whatever your full name is, you're going to put your full name over here. So now you have to understand that the first and the last paragraph is very short. One line I've wrapped up the whole thing in. The second paragraph, you can use 3 to 4 sentences for the second paragraph so that you elaborate the problem. You tell about your problem to the addressee. I hope it is clear to you. This one you can just copy. The second letter that you have to write in your English 1 notebook, I have given you kind of a guide for that letter. We will read this. Write a letter to the municipal commissioner complaining about the sanitary conditions of your locality. So you have to talk about the sanitary conditions. Suppose you are facing some sanitary problems in your locality. So you are writing to the municipal commissioner. You know what municipal corporation is? It is the Nagar Nigam. Those people who ensure the cleanliness of locality. So you are writing a letter to the commissioner of the municipal corporation. Okay. Here for sender's address, I have taken Gurudham, Varanasi. You can write again Lanka, Varanasi, Bhagwanpur, Varanasi, whatever. After sender's address, you leave one line, you write the date, which is May 7, 2020 over here. You can write your own date whenever you're writing the letter. Then you write the Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Varanasi. Because the designation is the Commissioner. He is the Commissioner. So that's why the Commissioner, Municipal Corporation, Varanasi. That is how we write it. Then again we leave a line and then we write the subject. Subject has to be written in 3 to 4 words or 4 to 5 words at the max. I've written over here sanitary conditions of my locality. So see, these few words should be enough for the person to understand what are you going to talk about. Okay. Respected sir or ma'am, then I've written your full name. So you will put your full name over here. A resident of Gurudham colony. So because I have written Gurudham in the sender's address, that is why I have written Gurudham colony here. If you write something else in the sender's address, make sure you make the change over here. So if I use my name, I, Swati Yadav, a resident of Gurudham colony, wish to draw your kind attention towards the what? What are you drawing the kind attention to? Towards the sanitary conditions of my locality. So you can write the same thing, towards the sanitary conditions of my locality. Full stop, first paragraph, done. Second paragraph, from the past few days, the sweeper does not come to clean my locality. Or you can write clean the lanes of my locality, anything. Due to this, dash in a locality. Due to this, what will happen? If the sweeper is not coming, what will happen? Due to this, piles of garbage are being collected in a locality. This is very unhygienic as it leads to the breeding of what? What will breed? Flies and mosquitoes. So this is very unhygienic as it leads to the breeding of flies and mosquitoes. The lanes are full of potholes. You know what potholes are? Potholes in Hindi we call gadda. So in English the word is potholes. The lanes are full of potholes, and when it rains heavily, it leads to what will happen? If you have a lot of potholes on the road and when it rains heavily, what will happen? Water will get collected. What is one word for it? Waterlogged. When it rains heavily, it leads to waterlogging. People find it difficult to walk through the roads. Whenever there is waterlogging, you cannot walk easily. All this can lead to severe health conditions like malaria, dengue, fever, anything. You can write whatever you want. I'm just giving a guide to you. This completes our second paragraph. We've written about the problems over here. It is my humble request to you too. Now what do you request the commissioner? You have to request to clean the area. Now you will frame this on your own. I will not tell you this one. Then again you will leave a line. You will write thanking you, yours faithfully or yours sincerely, and then your full name again. This one you will write in your English 1 copy. You will just take the help or whatever is written over here in blanks, fill in the blanks on your own and do this in your English 1 copy. So this one, the first one you will do in your Comet. The letter is completely given over here. You can copy it. The second one, you will just take this as a help and do it in your English 1 copy for homework. That's it. Thank you.